Hi guys, what is up? Today I'm actually making my first YouTube video for pottery, and I'm going to show you guys how to load a bisque kiln. So we have a lot of I have a lot of pieces here today, including some by my friend Julia. I'll show you those whenever I start loading them. So without further ado, let's get started. So yeah, I hope everyone is doing okay today during, this whole thing we got going on. A lot of pieces here today. These are the ones by my friend Julia. So the first thing I do is actually load this cone. So once it gets hot enough to melt that cone, the cone will sink into a U, which causes this top rod to drop, and it actually turns the kiln off. Okay, normally I start from the shortest pieces first. So here I'm actually going to start with bowls. The nice thing about bisque firing is how you can stack everything up because it won't stick together. So I'm getting my trusty little stilts here to hold up the next shelf. Basically I stack as high as I can until I reach the stilt. These, I might actually change out these stilts depending on if I have one that's just a little bit lower so I can make more shelves. So I'm trying to fit as many bowls as I can down here, and like I said, it doesn't matter if they touch. And the reason I'm not stacking too many bowls inside of each other is because I don't want too much pressure on each of the pieces, because that can cause problem while it's firing. So now I'm gonna fit these coasters in. Actually, I'm gonna just put them like that. We'll see if something else can fit there. Actually, let's do this. So here's how I put the cone in. It just fell out. So here's how I put it in. I basically lift the flap on the outside of the kiln and press the lever down. Then it fits in here, and that's what keeps the kiln on. Let's put some more. I don't want to stack too many coasters on top of each other either because they can warp. And I don't want them to warp since I need them to be flat. So I'm just going to scooch everything out towards the edges a little bit. And I'm just talking through how my mind is thinking while I'm loading this. Another thing, where I place the stilts is where I'm going to place them all for future shelves. So I want them to all be stacked on top of each other for future shelves. So I'm going to fit in some sponge holders. I can actually stack those on top of each other as well. I'm going to go like that, because there is no chance of these sticking together since they don't have glaze on them. And like I said, I'm going to stack as high as I can until I reach the top of this stilt. And the reason why I don't pack things too tightly is it can actually change the color of the clay as well. And I want the bottoms of my clay to match the sides, or if I have any transparent glazes that I want to use, I want to be able to have a nice even color for the clay. And that basically has to do with how oxygen flows around the clay pieces. So if certain pieces don't get as much oxygen, they tend to get a little lighter in color with this kind of clay. So that might be all for this level. So I actually fit a lot of stuff in there, which is good since I have some big stuff going in next. So now I'm going to put in my next shelf, and I'm going to pay attention to where these stilts are so I can put them in about the same spot. So now I have some of my taller stilts, since I have taller pieces. And like I said, I think I mentioned before, I normally like to put the shorter pieces in first in the bottom of the kiln because I find that it makes the kiln a little bit sturdier, the shelves, instead of having super tall sections at the bottom. And it also helps just keep heat at the bottom. So here I'm just going to stack this on top like that, and it should be fine. I'm also going to fit in this jug. I'm actually going to save these for up here since they're a little shorter, so I can fit these bigger pieces in first. So this video is really good for anyone who, first of all, is just interested in ceramics and clay, or if you are thinking about getting a kiln in, or you already got one and you don't know how to load a kiln or what to think about, because you want to try to fit as many pieces in there as possible so that you can just maximize your efficiency as well as the power it takes to, and electricity and heat and everything it takes to fire a kiln. So like I said, I want to fit as many pieces as I can. Also, these white pieces are my friend Julia's. She is taking online classes, and her school actually let her take a wheel home, so she's able to make ceramics at home. And then luckily I had a kiln, so I'm letting her fire her work here. Let's see here. I don't want to stack her colored pieces because just in case any color transfers to her other white pieces, and I also don't want to stack my brown pieces within her white pieces because, again, I don't want any of that clay to transfer over. So let's try to fit this right here. Let me actually try to put the handle this side. Oh yeah, much better. It's literally one giant jigsaw puzzle, and I absolutely love it. I'm gonna keep that up here. It's short enough. Alright, so now I'm going to put my last piece. I'm wondering if this piece is going to be too tall. Let's put this top shelf on. Also, this is where some glaze got, so I'm going to avoid putting anything on that section because it will stick. Yeah, so I'm just going to set this on its side, and hopefully it'll be fine. Is that? Yeah, it looks short enough. So I'm going to put it on its side. I'm actually going to put these things all around it so it doesn't roll too much. And I actually fit everything in that kiln. I will have to do 2 glaze firings at least to fit everything since I can't stack and glaze. Yep. So sorry for the weird angle here, but I wanted to get down to show you this. So after loading the kiln comes the actual firing. So this is a manual kiln, which means I set the temperature to start with, then I set the timer and start the kiln, and then I have to change the temperature every 2 hours. So I'll show you how I do that real quick. So this is my time control. As I mentioned, it's manual. So this is the number of hours that it's going to fire. So if the cone doesn't drop and this doesn't drop and turn off the kiln, the time limit will actually turn the kiln off for you, so you don't risk overfiring. So I set it to 8 hours total, which is how long the cone sticks. Clay fires to, and then I press this button to start. So how I do mine is I actually start the kiln on low and I keep it on that for 2 hours. Then I turn it to medium for another 2 hours, and then to high for the rest of the 4 hours. So my clay fires to cone 6, and it's a total of 8 hours.
Two hours later.
So that was how to load and fire a manual kiln. So I hope you guys learned something. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment below anything that you learned, any questions you have, anything that excited you or that you had no idea existed before. And be sure to hit that subscribe button. I will be posting more videos like this in the future, so I'll be teaching you things, kiln unloadings, throwing, trimming, all sorts of stuff. So I hope to teach you guys a lot. Have fun. Be safe out there.